Welcome back to the channel after another fantastic weekend of football. We're back with our usual midweek show. Obviously, the football doesn't stop because the FA Cup is currently on. We'll keep you up to date with some of them scores. Bournemouth Leicester just kicked off 5 minutes, no score. Blackburn Newcastle kicking off in about 10 minutes, and Luton Man City in about 25 minutes. So we will keep you up to date for anyone that is joining us. But I'm sure there'll be a lot of people watching. As Liverpool were very, very happy their fans over the weekend. Speaking to some of them, was out with a few of them. They beat Chelsea against the odds. When we heard about all the injuries, Chelsea couldn't take advantage of it. We'll be speaking about that game. We'll be speaking about Man City and Arsenal winning as well, whilst Liverpool were in cup action. And we're also going to analyse the 12 games that all three teams have left and try to predict where the league could be won and lost between now and May. So great for anyone that's joining us on tonight. And I've got two of my regulars, Owen, Liverpool, and Stefan, Arsenal, and the house lads. How are you feeling? Well, let's start with you. Big weekend. And it was the first test of could they get a trophy, and they've got that first trophy on the board.
I mean, you can't complain. A trophy is a trophy. Like at the start of the season, the Carabao Cup isn't one of my big priorities, but once you get there, and then once the injury started to happen, it was sort of I was sort of going into it. I said on here the last time I was on, I thought it would go to penalties. It nearly got there, but thankfully Van Dijk came up with a winner at the end, and I was ecstatic with the one, especially with the youngsters we had on at the time. Like it was just it's a big one, and hopefully we can rattle on now and win some more, but time will tell, I suppose.
Callum's watching as well. Callum was obviously at Wembley on Sunday, so I really enjoyed himself. I was speaking to him. Seen some of the videos and the photos. It looked like a great day out. Stefan, how about you? I mean, good one for Arsenal on Saturday night. You could kind of relax. Brilliant one against Newcastle. After Man City kind of struggled to beat Bournemouth, but they got the job done in the end. And then you watched the final on Sunday, I assume, between Chelsea and Liverpool. So, I mean, what was your summary of this weekend's football?
I mean, it was from an Arsenal point of view, it was a great weekend. I thought we had a really, really good response to the Porto loss. From the League Cup final, I thought the game was actually in a way overall quite poor in terms of quality based on the amount of chances that both teams had. And Chelsea, you could argue if you actually read up the actual stats, Chelsea had the better chances and could have easily won the game, but Liverpool, I think, just had mentally. I thought the actual difference was that Liverpool's big time players, their key players, turned up the same way Van Dijk equalized against Luton. It kind of changed the whole momentum of the game. He took control in that game, scored a key goal. So I was impressed with Liverpool, but the more I watched him, the more I see injuries, the more I see desperation, and I know every single person in the chat is gonna say, "Oh, Stefan's a hater." I'm proud of it. They got lucky again. Chelsea had no. I'm just go read up the actual stats. Chelsea had a higher XG than Liverpool. I mean, Cole Palmer. I thought.
I think to be fair, yes, they were lucky in terms of the chances Chelsea missed, but obviously not with the player. I mean, Kelleher was probably. Would you agree? Kelleher was probably man of the match.
Yeah, easily for me. Kelleher was the man of the match. Owen, he's the save on Cole Palmer from point. Come on, Owen. Like that was.
They should just rename this cup Kelleher's Cup because he always seems to turn up in the cup finals.
It was a ridiculous save. It was a ridiculous I don't know if it was a poor. I can't decide whether it was a ridiculous save or a really poor finish. Like I'm trying to.
It was a bit of both.
Yeah, maybe.
Let's come back to you. Because I mean, Stefan did say maybe quite fortunate with some of the chances, and I do think Liverpool were always going to have to ride their luck at times in this game with the players they had. Obviously losing Gravenberch, and these really are down to the bare bones now. But that it show the difference between a team and then individuals, because Chelsea had all this individual quality that everyone speaks about now. I'm yet to see some of this quality that people talk about. But Liverpool, a lot of you players we didn't really know about, come on, second half, extra time. I mean, was that the difference? A team beat a team of individuals?
I think the way we play in the first teams, the way we play in the academy teams, under Klopp, it's always been the same. And as Callum says there, my One of my favorite one of my favorite players at the minute. He put on a great shift, but he was poor in the first half. But I think the second half he really came on it. But I think from academy level up to the first team, we all play the same. So even if they come in, they know what way they play. And I'm not going to lie, like some of them, that Dan's boy, I didn't know who he was until he came on against Luton the other day. So I'll have to read up on him and see what he's like. But I think that is the difference. Liverpool have a team, and Chelsea are just a bunch of individuals, and you seen that, and you seen that on Sunday. Like once it went to extra time, as Gary Neville said, they just sort of sat back, and we sort of got more confident then. And it was a weird one from Chelsea because if I was Pochettino and Chelsea, I would have went for the kill, like, but they just sat back and allowed us to come on them.
Stefan,
Owen, Owen, say it quietly. Spursy from Poch right there, right?
Here, I'll tell you something. Before this game, I suppose go back a few weeks, everybody had Liverpool as massive favourites. Coming into the game on Sunday, it kind of flip-flop. People were saying maybe 50-50. Some even favoured Chelsea. I think Jamie Carragher says before the game, the longer it goes on, you would have to fancy Chelsea because of the lack of availability of some Liverpool players. But do you think in a way, Stefan, that was Chelsea's downfall, that their players couldn't handle the pressure? You know, we've seen Chelsea this year when they've went to Man City twice. They drew with Arsenal. They beat Spurs. You know, the pressure was kind of on this game because of Liverpool's injuries.
No, again, this is again the media loving for Liverpool. If you looked at prior to the game, I'm sorry, Owen. If you looked at the amount of injuries, Chelsea had, they technically had more injuries than Liverpool. They had more injured players. I know you were missing key players like Mohamed Salah, like Darwin Núñez and stuff like that. And I agree, you were missing, but you had McAllister back. You had your key midfield players. Please, when I read some of the stuff like Gravenberch has been, I'm sorry for the language, has been shit this year. Let's be honest, he's been terrible. So it wasn't like a big miss when he went off. Owen knows this. Owen agrees with me on Gravenberch. So Chelsea were missing, I would say, their most important player and their most experienced player, a player that has played in numerous finals, semifinals, as one in Thiago Silva. And let's be honest, people were saying about Dan's. Honestly, the more I watch Axel Disasi, this guy makes. If I was playing against him, he'd make me look good. So
he was very poor.
He was so bad. He lost, and even for the goal that Van Dijk scored, he lost Van Dijk. He was the reason. And then not only that, he lost Van Dijk. And I don't know if you guys saw after the winning goal, he started shouting at Mudryk for some reason.
I seen that there.
What are you shouting at?
Clear lack of leadership from Chelsea.
No, there's, and that was for me the difference was Liverpool, as the going got tougher and the game got tighter, you could see Liverpool were freer, whilst Chelsea, I mean, let's be honest, I told this to Gareth on chat, like we disagreed because, you know, every Spurs fan has a soft spot for Poch, but Poch said it in the press conference.
Not all of them, by the way.
Yeah, not all of them now because he's at Chelsea, but a lot of Spurs fans do. And what did he say in the press conference? He tried to clarify it, but he kind of let it out. He said, we were playing for penalties, pretty much.
I think he meant the team was, not that he wanted them to be that.
Yeah, he'll re-clarify. He said what he said, and you could see, because you would think the reason why I believe that is because Chelsea played worse once the younger players from Liverpool came on, which didn't make sense. Chelsea became tighter.
Evan, what changed? What changed in the final 10 minutes of normal time to extra time for you? Because Chelsea were dominating. I mean, it was only a matter of time before a goal went on. I was in a pub full of Liverpool fans, and they were saying, we just need to get the extra time here because Chelsea were pumping them. And then second half, it's extra time.
I texted you.
I'll tell you. Yeah, no, Gareth, I'll tell you what changed. The same thing that happened in the Arsenal game when they were completely playing better than us, and then he made key changes and swung the game for us. The same thing that happened in the Man City game recently, where they were again outplaying Man City. He made key changes and swung the game for Man City. And he made changes. He took off Cole Palmer. They lost any sort of technical security in the attack and in the midfield, and any sort of creativity on the break. And Chelsea just completely lost their actual threat. But for me, I agree with you. The most important thing is the lack of leadership. They had no leaders. Liverpool had Van Dijk. That was the actual difference. And Liverpool fans coming on here, and I'm reading Endo had a good game. Jesus Christ, guys! You had midfielders before like Wijnaldum. I never rated Jordan Henderson, but Endo makes Jordan Henderson look like Clarence Seedorf. I'm sorry, like this guy, he runs around, just completely tackle, like just loses the ball all the time, makes a few good tackles. He reminds me, you know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of when Arsenal signed Lucas Torreira, which is he looks good because he gets stuck in, but on the ball, he's horrendous. So you know what? I'm glad. I hope you keep Endo as your midfield player. I hope he's a key piece for the future because I really don't see what they were. But for me, sorry to continue.
No, you're right. Some interesting comments after the game, Owen, from Jurgen Klopp. He claimed that this trophy was the best he's ever won.
Oh, my God.
Is that just heat of the moment, or do you think he really means it?
Probably heat of the moment, and probably because of the circumstances as well, because nothing will ever beat the Champions League or the Premier League for me. Like,
you just think he got carried away with the celebrations?
Probably, probably because it's his. Who knows? It could be his last trophy as Liverpool manager. Hopefully it's not for me, but it could be.
Yeah.
So,
what do you think about that, Steph?
It could be like, I would say that the context and the difficulty of winning the trophy make it probably. I wouldn't compare it to those two that Owen named, but I would say it makes it much sweeter because of the actual difficulty running up to the game, the injuries, the way the game went, like everything kind of. It was beautiful because everything went in Liverpool's way. Like Kelleher had an amazing game. Like Chelsea missed a lot of chance. Like it was meant to be in a way that Liverpool would win. And the guy who actually scored the winner was their like captain, their leader over the last 6 years. So it was kind of like a beautiful ending.
A lot of talk about the young lads that played. Now, funny enough, the young lads, they're all young kids, fair enough. But they actually started the game with an older team than Chelsea and finished the game with an older team. Chelsea still had the younger players, right? But obviously the difference being between the two squads is Chelsea's players cost a lot more. They cost hundreds. It was a billionaire squad. As they say, the billionaires, Gary Neville says, the billionaire bottlers. A lot of money spent on these players. But the one thing I would say is it's not Mudrik's fault and it's not Fernandez's fault and it's not Casido's fault. They were bought for that money. Yes, they're not performing, but they're under so much more pressure than the likes of somebody like Bradley or somebody like Dan's who come on. Do you know what I mean? But how many of these Liverpool players you think played on Sunday we'll see now over the next few years?
Yeah,
are you asking me or Owen?
Sorry, you, Stefan. Sorry, Stefan, you.
None. Absolutely none of them. Apart from Bradley.
I was going to come on that if you don't say Bradley.
Owen, you can clip me. You can talk to. You could whatever. None of them will make it. If Liverpool are a serious club, and if you look at, I want to enlighten Liverpool fans about talking that Klopp has moved the youth or has progressed the youth of Liverpool. There have been two players that have been staples to the first team that are from the Liverpool Academy. I really like how Liverpool fans have revisionist history on Harvey Elliott. You stole him from Fulham at the age of 16. So he's not your youth product. So don't use him. It's like Arsenal saying Fabregas was our youth product. He wasn't. We just took him from Barcelona when he turned 16, the same way like Harvey Elliott. The second thing I want to say is if you look at Klopp's 9 years at Liverpool, only two players have actually progressed into the first team. And one of them broke through for the first time. Let's be honest, he's been a bench warmer for the last 2 to 3 years in Curtis Jones that has become starting regularly. And Owen, the other one is Trent. Any other younger player has now broken through. You can tell me Ben Doak because he makes 2 or 3 League Cup appearances or anything like that. Connor Bradley is the first one that has been playing regularly from the academy since Curtis Jones. So that means that in 9 years, he's had actually 3 players that have actually become key pieces to the first team. Compare that to Arsenal, compare that to Arteta, compare that to even to Man City. Man City have Foden, have the winger. Who else? They had Cole Palmer play for them a little bit. You can even argue that Man City have had more youth progressing than Liverpool. They're not even Klopp is nowhere near Arteta or some of the other coaches around him that in terms of progressing the youth. So Owen can hold his head, but he will not tell me apart from these 3 players that I named, Bradley, Jones, and Trent. another youth product that Klopp, forwarded into the first team.
What do you think, Owen? I mean, do you think maybe Stefan's been a bit harsh on some of them young fellas? Do you think they will get a chance under a new manager?
I can maybe
It depends, I suppose. If you're trying to win leagues, it's very difficult to get young lads, isn't it?
It depends on how they develop, but as we say, Dan's has only played 2 games. McConnell and Clark, they've only played a handful of games. So, to me, the only one I can see is Bradley, but the one I would like to see come through is the 2 actually, McConnell and Clark. I think they're really good players, but whether they make it a Liverpool is another question.
But guys, can we also sorry, Gary, can we also not call them kids? Like, I think one of them, McConnell, Clark was recalled from Aberdeen. He's played professional football. Like, it's not like he's taken him from the academy and his, shot. Like, they made Connor Bradley out to be like some 16-year-old that has never played professional football. The guy has over 50 appearances in the Football League for Bolton. He's 21 years old. The amount of media, the amount of media loving for Klopp and just the desperation to crown this guy because it's his last season is a complete joke. It's a complete joke, Owen. It's a complete joke. Like some of
let's come back to Chelsea before we look at these run-ins. I mean, where does that leave them now? Because for me, their whole season hinged on Sunday. They're not. I don't think they're going to make Europe now. I mean, they'll need certain things to go their way. It looks like it could be another season out of Europe now. I mean, is that the final straw in this Chelsea process? Because, we've had 2 full seasons under different managers, more money spent, and they've not got any better. I mean, at what point does the owner now say, do you know what, this hasn't worked, we need to try something different? Does he think it might be selling the club? I don't know, because at the moment, it's not working.
Are you asking me or Owen?
Yeah, sorry, you, Stefan, go ahead.
All right, I told you before, Gareth, like, they're using a baseball. I am rattled. Yeah, I am rattled. I agree. Yeah. Win the Premier League. Yeah. We could have won the cup. 9-9-0 keep. Okay. Guys, I told you I'm biased. I'm not gonna, but okay, let me answer about Chelsea. For me, it's obvious what's going to happen. And the owners are you can tell the club is a mess because every time something bad happens, they start to leak stuff. Like, they remind me a lot of Man United. I don't know if you heard, after Man United lost to Fulham, they leaked again now that a lot of the players from Man United don't respect Ten Hag. This always happens in a club has terrible culture and is broken. What was leaked right after the actual loss to Chelsea, conveniently, that the owners are suddenly now thinking of sacking Poch. That if he doesn't get Europe, he's probably going to be gone. How convenient, when 2 weeks ago the owners were saying that they were behind him, they were leaking stuff, that the metrics were the stats.
I just think for Chelsea now, it's about getting to the end of the season. I don't think they're going to make any decisions until the season.
Yeah, but but Gareth, the other thing I don't get, if they fire him, what are their options, guys?
What coach would take that job? What young upcoming decent coach is going to go, do you know what, I fancy Chelsea? It's a big, you look at it now, you look at managers that have gone there, it's not worked out. You're not going to be picking the players, somebody else is picking the player. I mean, they've gone to Brighton again for another director after the last one not working. They always just seem to go back to let's go to Brighton and see what they're doing.
No, it's like they want to become Brighton when Chelsea are a club that win. Like, yeah, okay, use Brighton's scouting model, which has been so successful. But the Brighton has won nothing with this. Like, at the end of the day, Brighton's done amazing, but they have won nothing. They haven't become like a top club. So them stealing scouts from Brighton and whatever, just look at their structure, man. They have 2 football directors. They had 3. I don't know if you guys remember. They had 3 at the start of the season and fired one of them.
Yeah, I remember that.
So it's complete chaos. Nobody knows what's going on. And
there's no plan in place. It's just like scrambling to get some sort of.
Gareth, I honestly predict they're going to get worse. Why? Because the only player that has, if they don't sign an experienced player or 2 in the summer, and they continue to sign these toddlers from Brazil and from wherever, they're going to be screwed. Because I don't know if you read, Thiago Silva is leaving. That is their
Yeah,
only leader,
he's
their only
retiring, isn't he?
experienced player, and easily their best defender.
Owen,
So
Owen, how do you see Chelsea at the moment? I mean, Stefan's made some good points there, but like, do you think that was the final hammer on the nail for Chelsea on Sunday? I mean, if they couldn't won that final, what chance do they have of winning? No, when they're going to get the hour final? And I mean, if
Uh,
you can't beat Liverpool's reserve side on a final, it don't say much.
to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if Leeds go and beat them tomorrow. Like, and
Well, Leeds will
I
go there
don't.
full of confidence.
Yeah,
There's no doubt about it because Leeds are flying in the championship. I know
I
it's
don't
a, I
think.
know it's a different level, but they are
Yeah,
flying.
I don't think it matters who Chelsea manager is at the minute. I just think above them, it's a mess. Uh, as you said, the manager's not picking the players. The manager's just sort of saying, "Here, I'll pick the team, but you pick the players." So
Mm,
I said it from the very start of this podcast this season that if it doesn't work out for Chelsea, it could go a really bad way. And I seen a report last night that if they don't sell players before the 20th of June or something this year, they
30th,
could be in
30th.
30th of June, they could be in real ball
Yeah.
away. Financial fair play
Well, they done
again.
the
So
same last year. Remember, they were trying to sell all their players before because that's the
let's
way it
see.
works. The
But
financial
but
sheet
but
for it
last year,
divided
but
accordingly.
last year they had players of value, guys. They sold
I don't know
Havertz
that
for
anymore.
60 million.
Conor
They
Gallagher's the
sold
one we're hearing, but that's not going
the
to
only yeah
40
the
something
only
million.
one
Not
the
going to
only
get you
one
much.
that you can the only one is Conor Gallagher, and supposedly Conor Gallagher. I mean, if you sell, I would argue that he's probably being their best player this year. He's their
Mm.
player of the season. So and you're gonna
One
sell
question
that
each of
guy?
these lads before we move on.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you both this individually.
Yeah.
Stefan first. Will Pochettino be the manager in the first day of the season next year?
No, I think they're gonna. From what I read, I don't know if you read, the most in the know guy that I've noticed over the last 3 to 4 years at Chelsea, and the most fake positive journalist on Chelsea. His name is Matt Law. So he
Yep.
he did
Yeah.
he did a special kind of article this week on Chelsea in what's going on, and if he's saying that uh Poch doesn't get along with the sporting director, one of them, and that sporting director has a very good relationship with one of the owners. The sporting director, when they look at the signings and they look at the failures, there's always going to be a scapegoat or a fall guy, and he's going to
Mm.
blame the coach, guys. He's going to blame the
Mm.
coach, and I think Poch. And if I was Poch, to be honest, would I want to continue at a place like this? It's complete chaos.
He doesn't look happy,
Nobody
does he?
knows what's going on.
Mark, or sorry, Owen, how about you? I mean, how do you see it? Do you see Pochettino being there next season?
Nah, I can see him being away before the end of this one.
Oh
I
wow.
know I know they have nothing they really play for either in the FA Cup, but they're not going to win that. So I can see him being gone before the end of the season, just to save face. But where does he go after here is the big question, because he's not.
Mm.
Uh, we all know he would love to go back to Spurs, but that's not happening anytime soon.
No, you can stay at
Would he?
Chelsea.
Would he love to go back to Spurs?
I
I don't
think
know.
he already said that basically when Spurs were playing Chelsea. He already said Spurs has a place in his heart and he would love to go back there at one point. So I don't know.
He
I
loves
mean,
it there.
some of the hires, guys. Let's just a final thing. Like, you have to hire people that fit your ethos, like your culture. Like hiring headmaster Potter and Spurs
But
lover
I
Poch.
did
Like,
think that they were going to. I think they were hiring these managers because they were kind of like we're building for the future. But the problem is that their seasons under these managers have been that bad. They've had to make a change. If Pochettino doesn't finish in the top 8 this year to get Europe, I don't really think he's got a leg to stand on.
he's not going to get Europe.
Yes, I don't agree with some of the stuff that's happened behind the scenes. But if he can't get that team the 8th place, then it's a failure on his side too. He will have to hold his hands up.
Yep.
No, he was his saving grace was the League Cup. He didn't win that, and now the FA Cup. Let's be honest, he's not going to win the FA Cup probably.
The only thing
Unless-
is they could beat Leeds tomorrow night and they could draw Coventry in the next round, then he could be at Wembley again. But the problem is, do you really see them beating a stronger Liverpool or Man City along the way? You just can't see it.
No.
So here, lads, let's move back to the Premier League, because whilst Liverpool were in cup action on Sunday, Man City and Arsenal had to play their games in hand on Saturday after Liverpool beat Luton midweek. And Man City and Arsenal, like everyone expected them, did their jobs. I mean, Man City was workmanlike. Arsenal blew Newcastle away, especially they should have been out of sight in the first half. Owen, I mean, you watched both games. Man City, they weren't convincing at all, really, were they?
No, they weren't, but they always find a way to get the job done. I know they didn't against Chelsea, but I actually predicted them they won this game 5-0. So I was well off. It only
And
ended
it
up
could be worse. I predicted Chelsea to finish in the top 4 to start the season, so it's not that bad.
mm, that goes down. That goes down as a bad one. No, like once Man City went 1-0 up, though, I didn't really fancy Bournemouth to get back into it. So I was going into the game, going into the cup final game. I was expecting the table to be as it is now. So I didn't really expect any different results to come out of it. And in terms of the Arsenal game, it was just men against boys. Like it was how Chelsea should have played against our team at the cup final. I think Arsenal were far better from start to finish, and even Lawrence Karius made a good save, but then
He
obviously
threw
then
one
the
up his
goal.
own net. Then,
It could have been
Stefan,
4-5 now at half time.
similar thoughts to you, Stefan. I mean, the pressure was really on Arsenal after Liverpool won Wednesday and after Man City won just before. I mean, we seen last year, wasn't it, when Man City beat Everton, Arsenal then struggled to beat Brighton. Well, they could beat, but that it's not easy. Sometimes, especially playing directly after the final whistle goes at Man City and the Arsenal players like warming up really, so there was no turnaround time. So Arsenal knew. And despite Newcastle not having a great season, they were still the most difficult opponent of the 3 games this week. Luton, Bournemouth, and Newcastle are a much better team than the other two. But I mean, any questions about could they follow it up? They answered them, Stefan. So I mean, what was your thoughts on the 2 games?
I'm gonna be honest, because I was super worried. Like after a European trip, especially a loss, I was worried that there was gonna be some sort of like a European hangover. So I was very nervous. And Newcastle are quite similar to Porto in terms of shithousing. They've done it before. The main difference, Callum, was inexperience. Arsenal were inexperienced massively, and it showed in the game. Porto kept. I mean, the ref was a disgrace in that game. There were the most amount of fouls were called in Champions League history in the game, so no team could set up any sort of rhythm. But Arsenal were really poor. But even though I still think the way Arsenal play at home right now, guys, the more I watch them, the way we like every team we have played since we've come back from Dubai, including Liverpool, we have completely just absolutely dominated. And it reminds me a little bit of Liverpool in the first kind of 3-4 years under Klopp, when people would go to Anfield, in terms of just the way they smothered the opponent. And I mean, Newcastle, like Sven Botman, I was he was so bad against us. He was
really bad.
He was like, I really rated him. I thought he was one of the best defenders last year, but in the Arsenal game, him and Trippier too. Martinelli absolutely destroyed Trippier in the game. I was shocked at how poor Newcastle were defending. Bruno Guimaraes was all over the place too. So
and Jorginho had another stormer.
No, but Gareth, again, we're amazing defensively. They have 3 shots and they score 1 goal. Like, I'm fed up of this, Gareth. Like, I'm fed up. Chelsea have 14 shots, score 0 goals.
Jorginho had another great game. I mean, is he a nailed on starter at the moment for you, Jorginho?
I would say he's a nailed on starter.
Even when Partey comes back, I mean as well. Does Jorginho play?
No, Partey's too good. But
Partey dropped Jorginho, but Partey drop him.
I wouldn't drop him now, but Jorginho is a nailed on starter for certain games. Like, I would play Jorginho, for example, away to
Man
Porto.
City just scored against Luton after 3 minutes. Erling Haaland.
Yeah, well, oh my.
Yeah, we're not really surprised.
And do you know what? No, it's not a coincidence. De Bruyne is back in the team, and City are a different team without him. Lads, before we move on to these run-ins, I'm going to throw on the 3 curveballs, I think. One for each team that I think they have to overcome if they're going to win this league. So we'll start with Liverpool. We'll start in order. Liverpool being top. I think the obvious one at the minute's injuries. Owen, I mean, with all these games coming up, they've got Southampton on Wednesday night. Now, I know it's a championship team, but Southampton have been playing well most of the season. They've had a bit of a brick wall, but you would still expect Southampton to go there and give it a go. They're playing decent football. I think Liverpool will win, but it's another game. Then they have to go to play Forest at the weekend, and basically the Europa League back now. They have to go to Sparta Prague, home and away. So there's loads of games, and with such a thin squad at the minute, it's going to be hard to beat. I mean, if you're going to win the league in the Premier League, you're going to win nearly every game. There's no room for draws or a loss here. So, I mean, do you think Liverpool can overcome it?
It's tough because I do think I actually do think all the teams will drop points at some point. I generally do. I can't see any of the teams going on like a mad winning run.
But how many
But
points are we talking here? I don't think you can get away with dropping 10 or 12. I think you might get away with dropping 4 or 5, 6 max,
I
maybe.
think I think five's the max. I would even say
Yeah.
six is a bit too much. But
Mhm.
listen, at the minute, I'm just taking it one game at a time and praying that we don't get any more injuries in all the games we play. But it'll be interesting to see what sort of team he puts out against Southampton tomorrow. Will he just throw the kids on there like from the start? I can't see the likes of Van Dijk playing or McAllister playing, but it will be interesting to see what type of team he puts out. I still expect us to beat Southampton, but as you were saying to me yesterday, the Forest game was tricky. We lost
It's a
there last
super
season
tricky
1-0, so
Yeah.
it'll be. I I I would say we'll win that game, but just about. But it's gonna be a tricky one for definite.
Stefan, final thoughts before we do this run on Liverpool. I mean, that is the obvious one at the moment. If they're a fully fit team, you'd be thinking they have as good as chance as any. With all these injuries, it's not so much that just the injuries. If they were playing one game, they're playing all these games in the FA Cup, Europa League. The fact they're playing Southampton, I think they're going to get through. So you're going to have a quarter final plus possibly more games.
Mm.
Sparta Prague, I think, is a nice draw in the Europa League. I think that's an hour
It's
winnable
not,
tie. So they're
Gareth.
going
It's not.
to, no, from
This
what
thing
I've
that
seen, the
no. In
Galatasaray
terms of
took them all the way.
no, in terms of yeah, Sparta Prague, they'll beat Sparta Prague, but they have to go to Prague. They have to travel.
Well, of
Playing
course,
in
but what I
Prague
mean is, you would expect them to get through, so they're going to have a quarter final minimum, possibly even more games. So I mean, it
which
wouldn't shock me if Liverpool made an R2 finals, plus having to play all these Premier League games.
I I don't know in terms of if they continue to pile on injuries like the Nottingham Forest game. Nottingham Forest away is a super difficult game, guys.
Yeah,
Like
no,
if
I
they're
agree.
very rarely teams go there and win like they beat them handily 3-4 now. It's always a 1 or 2 goal max game.
Yeah.
Like Man City drew last year, Arsenal lost last year. Arsenal beat them quite easily this year, but it was still a 2-1 game. I would say they have a number of banana skins in which, because of their defense, because of the amount of chances that they concede, that could flip on its head. And I would say the games that I would be worried are, apart from the Man City game, obviously, is away to Everton, away to Nottingham Forest. Those are very tricky games. Everton, away to Everton, it's a derby. Everton
We'll
are
come
going to
on
be
to those games very shortly,
yeah.
Stefan. Only ask you the same question about Man City. Biggest thing from Man City at the moment for me is they've took their foot off the gas again and they're coasting through games. And if you remember, they were coasting against Liverpool at home and drew. They were coasting against Spurs and won and then they drew. Like, you can say about they got the job done Saturday, but that wasn't down to anything Man City did great. Bournemouth missed great chances. So on another day, that game could have went the same way. So at the minute, Man City seem to be playing in first. Well, that's they conserve energy for the Champions League and all our games. I do think when De Bruyne plays, they're a different team. He didn't play against Brentford. They struggled. Didn't play against Bournemouth. They struggled. Now he's playing tonight. They're already winning. So but obviously he can't play that many games. Obviously, or he would be playing. So they have to save him and cherry pick his games. So I mean, I'll be shocked if De Bruyne plays at the weekend because I think they'll rest him for Anfield. So I mean,
play him at the weekend. We don't want
Are Man City giving you a little bit of hope that they still aren't at their 100% best that we seen last season?
It's scary though because they're not at their best and they're still winning games. I've always said that. I've always said my eyes on the Man City game, but now with all our injuries, I just want us to get through Southampton and Forest and then see where we are when it comes to Man City. Because I know we had a debate just that you see us getting beat. At the minute, I would take a draw if I'm being honest, but like the Anfield factor, Man City won't want to come and play us because it's gonna be raucous. Like you thought Wembley was bad against Chelsea, it's gonna be a fire pit for Man City, and that's my hope where we can nick something. But it will be tough. But I don't know.
Interestingly, as well, the Sparta Prague away trips before Man City, which hasn't.
That's and trust me. Czech teams, guys, they're super physical. They're gonna kick the shit out of Liverpool.
I think that'll be their final. I think Prague probably think they're beat over 2 games, but they'll be up for the first game, and they know if they can get
the fans. Prague, the fans are. It's the atmosphere is really good. The Prague players are gonna be up for it. Liverpool are not gonna have an easy game, and they're gonna get kicked. It's gonna be super physical. I wouldn't be surprised if they injure a player or two there because Czech teams, especially Sparta Prague, have been infamous for this. Eastern European teams in general, very physical, very, very
Mm.
physical.
What
So
about Man City, Stefan? Are they giving you confidence?
Uh, no, I told you this. This like we have talked about Man City. We're using it based on
There's a first
precedent
for everything,
bias.
Callum. Trust me. There's a first for everything.
No.
Yeah.
The tradition's going to continue.
Just Callum's
Wait, but
commentaries
let's
going to
see.
the
No,
Man
no.
City game. He's
I'm.
never seen it.
I, I honestly, if City continued to play like this, I wouldn't be surprised if Liverpool beat them at home because they've been running their luck. They played quite poorly against Everton, and it took a brilliant finish from Haaland to win the game. It was a brilliant volley from a corner that game they barely had any chances against Everton. They didn't play well. They weren't fluid. Then against Bournemouth, let's be honest, for most of the game, Bournemouth were the better team. Man City were time wasting in the 85th minute trying to get the ball into the corner and stuff. So they're not playing very well. And just like with Man United, we talked about this last time we were here. This type of it's not sustainable after a period of time. You will make a mistake, it will catch up with you. That's why I believe with Liverpool, with the chances that they concede, it will catch up with them, and especially now with the injuries, with the key players that they're missing. So
Yeah.
for me, I'll be really intrigued to see Man City. And guys, don't forget, look at their schedule. Man City, by far, compared to Arsenal and Liverpool, have the hardest
They
games.
have the toughest games.
Yeah, by far. They have to go away to Brighton. They have to go to Anfield. They have to go. Where else do they have to go?
Spurs.
They have a number of
Spurs.
tougher games than us.
I think.
Lads, before we get into it, just touch on Arsenal as well. I mean, I think the one question mark you have over Arsenal is the mentality. We've seen what happened last year. We've seen what happened in Porto. Oh, and I mean, the Arsenal still have it all to prove that they can outlast Man City and Liverpool in this title race.
I mean, it's hard because they've shown mentality because they went to Porto and lost and came back and whapped Newcastle. So they can do it. It's whether they can do it for a sustained period now coming into the running. But obviously, in my head, I hope they crash and burn like because I want Liverpool to win it. But you have to give Arsenal their credit. Like me myself, I've written them off many times and they've shut me up. So um, hopefully they don't. But I actually think when they go to the Etihad to play Man City, that is going to be a very very interesting game because I do think Man City, as much as Stefan's saying Liverpool give up chances, Man City, I've seen Man City this season and they
I
give up a
agree.
lot of chances as well.
I
And
agree.
and I think if they give up that many chances against us and Arsenal, there'll be goals to be had in both of them games. So I wouldn't be surprised if Man City don't get anything out of either of them games, which would be interesting.
Stefan, final thought to you on Arsenal before we do this this run?
Gareth, yeah, I would change the word mentality to experience. Do we have the experience and know-how? Liverpool have
Yeah.
Klopp, Liverpool have Van Dijk, Liverpool have remnants of a team that won trophies. So do Man City. The difference is where I would say where Liverpool and Man City fans should be worried is that Arsenal are missing 4 or 5 key starters. Imagine putting this. Imagine this team that we currently have now that is playing really well. You add Partey, you add Tomiyasu, you add Zinchenko, you add a number of players that can easily start for Arsenal. We become, in my opinion, much better. And I agree with Owen about Man City not being as solid defensively as they were last season. That is completely true. If you watch the Bournemouth game, you watch the Everton game, that is true. The most solid defensive team by every metric, by the goals conceded, by everything, is Arsenal this year. And that's what gives me hope if we go to the Etihad, especially with a fully fit squad. If we go to the Etihad with Thomas Partey and Declan Rice and play them in the midfield, we have a massive chance.
Right, lads. Time has come. We're going to look at these 12 games each that the three teams have. Anyone that's playing along, feel free to grab a bit of paper and score down your predictions for the 3 games. And we'll put your comments up at the end of what you would have the final table as. I'm going to do it for Owen and Stefan here on my phone. So Liverpool at the moment have 60 points. Man City have 59 and Arsenal have 58, all with 12 games left to play. So this week I've actually put the dates on because I think these are quite significant sometimes to see who's playing first as well. So first up this weekend is actually Liverpool. They play away to Forest at 3:00, and then on Super Sunday it's Man City against Man United at 3:30, and on a Monday night football it's Sheffield United against Arsenal. Owen, I'm going to start with you first, and then no point analysing these games because we'll be here all day. There's not many games, so I just want you to give me your predictions for the 3. So Forest, Liverpool.
I'm gonna go 2-1 Liverpool.
Right, so Liverpool 1. So that
Yeah.
moves Liverpool on the 63 for you. Man City against Man
I
United.
can't wait for this now. 7-0 Man City.
Nah, I don't think it'll be 7-0, but I do think Man City will win. Unfortunately,
Yeah, Man City will win. So I'll put them on the 62. And Arsenal away to Sheffield United.
Arsenal win. I would love to say Sheffield, but no, I'm not that deluded.
Stefan, your 3 predictions for these games.
I'm gonna go for Forest. I'm hoping this is more hope. I really think Forest can give them a real problem. They're gonna play super deep, super defensive, and on the break, I'm gonna go for 1-1 here. I really
Draw.
do think that if with all the injuries they have, I really think they're gonna struggle in this game. Because
Man
Forest away
City
is tough.
against Man United.
I don't think it's gonna be as resounding. I think it's gonna be.
I'm gonna have to push you because if I get you to analyze every game, we'll be here tomorrow morning. So we're
Yeah,
gonna have
sorry. 3-1 City. I think it's gonna
So
3-1.
a 1 for Man City, 62, and Arsenal against Sheffield. Not even gonna bother asking.
4-0 Arsenal.
Right. So I'm gonna give you my predictions. I think as well, like Stefan, this Liverpool Forest game is gonna be tricky. I think we had the week they've had with injuries. I think this could well be a draw. I'm going to back Man City to beat Arsenal. And I'm going to back Arsenal. Man City to beat Man United and Arsenal to beat Sheffield. So that leaves it. It would leave Owens. It would leave you in 63. Basically the same as it was 63, 62, 61. Me and Stefan's is slightly different. We've got Man City on 62 and Liverpool and Arsenal on 61.
Spot the Liverpool fan,
Moving on to the following week, Arsenal take on Brentford first before Liverpool take on Man City. So, Owen, Arsenal against Brentford. How do you see that one going?
Arsenal won 2-0.
Arsenal won 2-0. So that moves them only 64, and they will be top of the league before Man City take on Liverpool in this game. So it will be played the following day. How do you see that game at Anfield going?
I'm gonna go 1-1.
Really? Even if you have all the injuries?
Nah, I think Sabitzer will be back. I think Salah will be back, and Nunez will be back. So I think that'll give us a bit of a chance. So I'll stick there 1-1.
Stefan, how do you see them 2 games going?
Brentford have been terrible away from home, so I'm hoping. I think Arsenal have been sensational at home since January, so I'm gonna go for the same as Owen. I think a 2-0 win for Arsenal. Brentford are tough defensively, so 2-0.
How do you see the big game going?
I'm gonna go for that one. I'm gonna go for
Haaland's just made it 2-0 to Man City.
Yeah.
So Man City are cruising through to the quarterfinal here.
1-0 win. 1-0 win for Man City.
1-0 Man City. So
actually, no. Sorry, Pep has never won at Anfield, has he? He's never won since he's been
with fans. Everyone during COVID.
Only in the COVID year.
Oh, okay. Actually, let me change that. 1-1.
Oh, you agree? I just have a sneaking suspicion we'll get a point.
Which is great for us because if it's a draw,
I think Man City won that game in Anfield based on the players Liverpool are missing. I really do. So scores after this round of games would leave. My scores would have Liverpool in 61, Man City 65, Arsenal 64. Owen 64, Liverpool 64, Arsenal 63, Man City. And Stefan,
that would be more bracket.
64, Arsenal,
guys, can I just say, Liverpool. Aren't we glad that this is happening? Like, I know we're Arsenal and Liverpool fans. Like, this is a real title race. Like 3 teams.
100%.
It's better than just 2 Man City it's 3 really good teams. 3 really good teams. Like it's
so
great.
moving on to the following week now. I've put stars beside this because there is a good chance these games could be moved later on in the season. So if Chelsea were to beat Leeds tomorrow, that Arsenal Chelsea game will be postponed. If Liverpool beat Southampton, that game's postponed. And if obviously with Man City won tonight now, that game will already be postponed. So it's looking like these 3 games could be played later in the season. Now I think that favors Liverpool because they're probably going to have more players back. Arsenal, I think Arsenal will fancy their chances against Chelsea at any time.
Yeah.
But I mean,
at home.
Well, just for the sake of the podcast, we'll just do these 3 now as they are because they're likely to, it's not going to have too much of an impact because I do expect Chelsea to win. And I do expect Liverpool to win. So I think all 3 games could be moved. But I mean, it would be a big bonus if Chelsea slipped up and Arsenal could get 10 points on the board. I mean, and I'm sure you'll want Chelsea. They won tomorrow night. You won't want Arsenal getting 10 points on the board.
Nah, as I say, I'd rather have my points on the board than a game in hand. So, I hope Chelsea won. But in terms of these games, I think Arsenal will beat Chelsea. I just think Chelsea will be they're done. Like Everton, Liverpool, I'm going to go win. Everton one. I nearly said cheapers. I'm going to go win a Liverpool one 2-0. Brighton, Man City. I'm actually going to go 2-1 Man City. I was going to go 1-1, but I changed my mind.
So
There,
again, very tight in your table. Liverpool in 67, Arsenal in 67, and Man City in 66. Stefan, how do you see the M3 games going?
I'm going to tell you, I agree with, but I'm telling you this: if Chelsea go out of the FA Cup, they literally have nothing to play for. So I would say if we play Chelsea on that weekend because they've been out, I think we're going to beat them easily. So I'm going to go for a 3-1 win over Chelsea.
Yeah.
If we play them in that weekend, Everton, Liverpool, it's a derby, man, and Everton always push you guys, no matter how bad they are. It's always a tough game. Yeah. If you have injuries and they play that weekend,
they won't do it. I can't see it. I can't see Southampton not going to.
And not only that, Everton have got a boost regarding their relegation fight. They got, I think, 6 points added, 4 points.
They do, but they could be getting more taken off.
The problem I have.
Yeah, true.
I
think the Everton Liverpool game could be a draw. I'm being more hopeful than I'm gonna go for a 1-1 draw again. I honestly I told this to Garrett. I think Liverpool have not gone through a blip, and every big team, no matter how good they are, they have to go through. They will go through a blip at some point. And Liverpool, you
could say that Andrews are a blip.
That's true.
What about
I mean, the only blip.
What do you Brighton, Stefan?
You never know with Brighton. They're like Jekyll and Hyde. But at home, they're usually really strong. I'm gonna go for a surprise here, guys. 2-2. I think Brighton will really go at City, man. I don't think
Arsenal 67, Man City 64, and Liverpool 63. So my ones here, I'm going to go for an Arsenal one against Chelsea. I'm going to go for a Liverpool one as well. I think they'll beat Everton no matter when they play them. And Man City as well will beat Brighton. I think they're quite open. So my table would have Arsenal and Man City joint on 67, Liverpool on 64. So that would take us up to the international break. And then when we come back, we've got a massive weekend at Easter. Liverpool take on Brighton first, and then Man City take on Arsenal. So I think we're going to know a lot about these tables come the end of March because they will have Man City and Arsenal and Liverpool and Man City will have played each other. So, Owen, how do you see these games going?
Liverpool, Brighton always give us a good game, but I think
that's true.
I think just because we're at home, I'll go 2-0 Liverpool. And Man City v Arsenal, I'm gonna go 2-2 draw. I think it'll be a draw.
2 goals each. Wow. Okay.
Thanks, so.
And that leaves your table 70, Liverpool on 70, Arsenal on 68, Man City on 67. Stefan, how about you for these 2 games?
Brighton's away form is terrible this year. I'm gonna go for a Liverpool win here. So I'm gonna go for a quite easy. I'm gonna go for 3-1. And then Man City, Arsenal. Again, hard overhead, guys. We're going to break through this year. 1-0 Arsenal.
Oh, big one.
Do the double for Man City.
By your table, I think this will be game over for Man City because your table's got Arsenal on 70, Liverpool on 66, and Man City on 64. I don't think they turn that around.
This is the day. This is the day we'll be out for too, isn't it? We'll be out for these games.
Got a couple of comments coming on here. Callum fancies Arsenal definitely at 1-0. I'm going to disagree. I think Man City will win this game. I just think at home they'll find something over Arsenal. Not by much, but I do think, and I think Liverpool will win as well. But it would still leave Arsenal in a healthy enough position. So by your tables, lad, Owen, you would still have 3 teams involved. By Stefan's, probably only 2. And with my one, we would have 3 as well. So my table would have Man City on 70, Liverpool and Arsenal both on 67, so only 3 behind. These fixtures were just announced today. These next few rounds of fixtures, the TV games just come out today. So Arsenal and Luton and Man City and Villa takes place on a Wednesday night before Liverpool take on Sheffield United on the Thursday night. So, no doubt Man City have the hardest game here. So, I mean, how do you see these games going on?
I think Arsenal will beat Luton easily. I'm going to go 3-0. Man City, Villa, you never know. I'm gonna hold out hope and say, nah. I think because City are at home, I think they'll beat them. I'll go Man City 1. I think we will destroy Sheffield United.
So again, Owen, not
I'm gonna go for Arsenal.
170. Stefan, your shout.
Luton, I think Luton's away form is again terrible. They're two different sides, home and away. I think we'll beat them easily. I think 4-0 Arsenal. I think Man City Villa. I think again Villa flattered to deceive away from home. We've always spoken about this, Gareth. I think they're gonna destroy. I think they're gonna beat Villa easy. I think 3-1 Man City, and then Liverpool Sheffield 6-0 Liverpool.
And again, my ones here, I have gone for Arsenal day 1, Man City day 1, and Liverpool day 1. So I'm going for a full house clean sweep here. So again, tables are quite tight between me and Owens. Still that gap, the Man City and yours, Stefan. Moving on to the weekend.
Biased,
Crystal Palace Man City is actually at 12:30 kickoff. That's the early game. Brighton take on Arsenal at 5:30. And then Man United take on Liverpool on the Super Sunday at 3:30. Their time at 3:30. So
this is a massive weekend, guys.
Look at them 3 games and say they're all difficult in different ways. So I think this could be quite a big weekend. Owen, how do you see these games going?
Palace always seem to get a result in Man City, whether it's home or away. So I'm going to hold out hope and say 1-1. I think they drew was a 2-2 earlier on the season.
They drew 2-2, and I think Man City over the last 4 years have only one win at Palace.
Yeah, it's a bit of a bogey year for them. Yeah. Brighton, Arsenal. I think Arsenal won that all day.
Okay. Well, okay.
Obviously, well, I hope they don't. But I think
the problem with United, as you know, they'll up their game and they play Liverpool one. So I mean, that's a tricky game.
I mean, I'm never going to back United to beat Liverpool, so I'm going to say Liverpool won there.
The game is at Old Trafford, man, and
so Owen, your table has changed a wee bit now. Now all 3 teams are within. It's similar to how it is now, but Arsenal have now took the lead in your table on 74. Liverpool are in second on 73. Man City are in third on 72. So
if Liverpool don't want it, I hope Arsenal do, because I don't want to see Man City left anything.
Stefan, your call for these games.
Again, it's more hope over logic. They do really struggle against Palace. They have been their bogey team over the last 4 or 5 years.
The problem I've got with your top and City, they drop points again here. I mean, they've dropped more points in the last 4 weeks here than they have all season, judging by some of these results.
I'm biased, man. I told you. I'm. That's why.
This Man City will be fighting with Spurs and Villa for top 4.
No, I'm gonna go for a really tight 1-0 victory for Man City, but just barely they're gonna beat Palace, because they always struggle. Arsenal. I disagree with Owen, man. Brighton have been our bogey team over the last few years, and Brighton at home are a different breed away. I'm gonna go for a 2-2 draw. Like I'm really worried about that game. I'm really, because we don't play away to. I know last season we beat them 4-2, but yeah, I'm really worried about that game.
Man United, Liverpool.
Liverpool don't do well at Old Trafford over last year they lost, and Man United, guys. Liverpool are going to be the better team. They're going to have one counter attack, and Man United will score. Man United are so shit, though. Okay, 2-1 Liverpool.
So that leaves your table, Stefan. Arsenal on 74, Liverpool on 72, and Man City on 70. My predictions for these games, I'm going to go for Man City to beat Palace. I'm going to go for Arsenal to beat Brighton.
Everybody is so confident. Everybody is so confident for Arsenal. I'm shocked.
I think Man United will take a point off Liverpool. So
I knew you were going to.
All right. I just think that's a nightmare game for you. Moving on to the following week, Man City take on Luton at 3:00. Arsenal take on Villa at 5:30, and Liverpool take on Crystal Palace on the Sunday at 2:00. Owen, how do you see these 3 games going?
I mean, if the Man City Luton game is anything to go by tonight's one, it's just gonna be another Man City one, isn't it? Arsenal Aston Villa. I'm gonna go 1-1.
No.
And then also at home to Palace. That could also be tricky. Palace again, they always seem to give us tough games, but again with the Anfield factor, I think we'll win 2-1.
So you've gone to have you gone Man City? They won. Arsenal they won, and Liverpool they won. All
No,
three.
I've gone Man City, they won, Arsenal they draw, and Liverpool they won.
Right, Arsenal they draw. So Arsenal on 7.
Again, it's sort of more hope than anything.
Again, Owen's Liverpool have now leapfrogged and went to the front on 76. Man City and Arsenal on 75. So again, super tight. Yours one. I tell you what, if we go by Owen's table, this could be one of the best races ever. Stefan, how do you see these 3 games going?
Man City 5-0 against Luton. I'm telling you guys, Arsenal are going to spank Aston Villa at home. I'm going to tell you this from now. Arteta is going to use the motivation from the Villa loss away from home, which I thought was quite unfair. And I think Arsenal are going to be really, really, really up for this game. And Emery away from home is not the same team. So yeah, I think Arsenal are going to win this game easy. I'm going to go for 3-0 Arsenal. I really do.
It all depends as well on what teams have to play for at that time.
Yeah, true. I agree with Owen. Crystal Palace are a difficult side. I remember, didn't last season they won? Didn't they win 2-1 or something last year?
Yeah,
and
they beat us.
And they always score goals at Anfield. They always score on the break. They're a difficult team, but I just think Liverpool have too much. I'm gonna go for 3-1 Liverpool.
So Stefan, your table 77, Arsenal 75, Liverpool 73, Man City. I'm going for 3-1s here for the 3 teams. I can't see Luton doing anything. I think Arsenal beat Villa, like you said. I think Liverpool beat Palace as well. So
I think on your table, Gareth, it favours Man City, doesn't it?
Well, it could all change because there's some difficult games coming up now.
If I remember right,
my table has Man City on 79, Arsenal on 77, Liverpool on 74. Now, these next games have yet to be scheduled for TV yet, so it's literally just we don't know when these games will be played across the weekend. So I'll just put in the date they're down at the minute. So they're all down for Saturday kickoffs. Fulham, Liverpool, Spurs, Man City, and Wolves, Arsenal. Again, all games I could see. They're all tricky games. So, Owen, how do you see these games going?
You know what? Unfortunately, Fulham away is always tricky, and I think this might be the point where we slip up. I'm going to go 1-1. Spurs, Man City. Again, Spurs, Man City. I'm going to go. I'll go 2-2. I think they always seem to be draws, but I think Spurs are going to. And then Wolves, Arsenal. I think Arsenal won that.
All right, so Owen, your table has Arsenal back in front again on 78, Liverpool on 77, and Man City on 76. Stefan, how do you see this round of games going?
I'm actually shocked by Owen. Fulham have a terrible record against the top 6.
I know, but they always make it difficult for us away.
I think you won't be as easy, but I think you'll win 2-1. I think Spurs, Man City. I have my hopes, but not with the way Spurs play defensively. No. I'm going to go for a 1-0 shithouse win from Man City from a corner. Just like the FA Cup game.
Arsenal.
We have a really good record against Wolves. I think we'll win this game. I think a professional 2-0 win.
Wolves are a strange team.
This is where I think that's going to get very interesting, especially the fact that Spurs play all 3 teams in a row here. And I think on their day they'll cause at least one of these teams, but they'll not lose all 3. They'll bound to get at least a point or one of them. So they could cause trouble here.
You don't be
Arsenal. You're going to cause trouble to Arsenal because you haven't won at Anfield in 100.
I disagree with you. I think Liverpool will go there and win.
I hope you're right.
I think Spurs will draw with Man City.
What? You think Spurs are going to draw with Man City?
I agree too. Yeah,
and I think Wolves are going to draw with Arsenal as well in this round.
Okay.
The big winners in this week and my round of games, and I've tried as far as I can of Liverpool because I've topped Liverpool. They drop a few points, so now my table has it: Man City on 80, Arsenal on 78, and Liverpool back in the race on 77. So we're moving to the following week. Forest take on Man City, which won't be easy. Spurs, Arsenal, North London derby. Arsenal have no chance, and then West Ham against Liverpool.
Ooh, West Ham Liverpool. That's a good game.
Arsenal have no chance. Did you say?
I'm messing. But again, all three teams. I think all these games are difficult again. So from that week before, you look at them; they're all tricky. These are all tricky. So I know Spurs are playing, or I still think West Ham away will be tricky and Forest away will be tricky. So these are difficult games.
Do you want me to go first again?
Yeah,
Yeah,
go
go
ahead.
for it all.
I think Man City beat Forest. It all depends. Until you don't know, Forest could be relegated by then, depending on points. um, Spurs Arsenal. I'm going to go 2-1 Spurs. Sorry,
Oh,
and West Ham Liverpool. I
That's
think we'll
always a
put
difficult game for you guys. Away to
that's
West Ham.
but I already topped this to drop points away at home, so I'm gonna go 2-1 Liverpool
so
West.
you're going Liverpool. They won.
Spurs they won
Arsenal,
and City they won.
City they won. So your table now has it Liverpool on 80, Man City on 79, Arsenal on 78. So again, very tight. Stefan, how about you?
Forest, Man City. Last year they drew and they struggled. So now I think City will win. I think, but they'll win again very close. I think it will be a 1-0 win, 1 or 2-0 win.
Yeah.
So I'll win for Man City. Spurs, Arsenal. I think we'll win this game. I think if you guys play open football against us,
this will be our cup final here. Well, especially if Arsenal's not title us.
Yeah, I mean, we could, based on my predictions, my biased predictions, we could pretty
you
much
could be top of
win.
the league going into this game. Yeah.
Yeah. So it'll be a big game, and you guys could still be in the race for top four. Then it'll be a big game, but no, I really think Arsenal will win. I think Arsenal will want revenge for the first game. So Arteta will definitely.
Yeah, I put you in for an Arsenal 1 and then West Ham Liverpool.
I'm gonna go for a draw here. Liverpool always struggle against West Ham away.
So
I'm
if
gonna
it
go
is
for a
right,
1-1.
Stefan, if you're right, this would leave Arsenal in a really good position. So they'd be on 83 and Man City Liverpool on 79. My predictions for these games are Man City will win at Forest. Spurs will beat Arsenal. And
Who's
West
coming?
Ham will take a draw off Liverpool. So that has my table at 83 Man City and Arsenal and Liverpool on 78. Moving on to May, final few games now. Arsenal take on Bournemouth, Liverpool take on Spurs, and Man City take on Wolves. Owen, how do you see these games going?
I think Arsenal beat Bournemouth, Liverpool beat Spurs, Man City beat Wolves.
I agree.
Yeah.
I fancy all them three as well. You agree, Stefan? You fancy all three?
Yeah,
ones?
yeah. I think I Spurs. I think Spurs have won at Anfield 4 times in 100
we
years
won't
or
win that game.
something.
We'll be beat there.
Yeah, I think Spurs. I think Liverpool will win.
Even if we play with your skin, we'll find somebody to lose that. We always take
Yeah,
it through.
yeah. Like last
Maybe.
season, like last season, you came back from 3-0 down and then you
We've
lost.
conceded more last minute goals at Anfield than any other ground. We've seen them throw it away at the end.
I just hope this Liverpool Spurs game, we talk about the game afterwards and no shenanigans.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I mean, yeah, I think Arsenal will beat Bournemouth easily at home. I think Liverpool Spurs. I think Liverpool will win that.
So,
And
Stefan, your table will be Arsenal on 86, Liverpool and Man City on 82.
No.
No, I'm serious. I think I honestly
have Liverpool on 83, Man City on 82, and Arsenal on 81. So you have, to be fair, topped a lot more teams to drop points. And my table would have Man City on 86, Liverpool and Arsenal on 81. Moving on to the second last week of games, and there's some belters on here for the second last weekend. Villa take on Liverpool.
I forgot about Villa. You guys have to go away to Villa.
Have tricky games.
I didn't know this. They have to go to Villa.
We have to go away to Villa. I think it's the second last game.
This is the second last games. Yeah. So Villa take on Liverpool, Fulham, Man City, and Man United, Arsenal. Owen, how do you see these games go?
You know what? I hate to say it, but I think Villa will get a draw. I think I'm going to go with 2-2 draw there. I think Man City will beat Fulham and Arsenal will beat Man United.
All right. I'm going to withhold your scores now for the final game, so I don't want you to interfering. So, Stefan, your scores for these games.
I would have said a Villa win based on their home form this year, but Liverpool have this hex on Aston Villa because I watched a lot of Villa games and over the seasons, even last year, Villa battered them last year and they somehow won that game.
Liverpool always catch out their high line.
Yeah. Liverpool just have this thing. So I'm gonna go for a more hopeful. I'm gonna go for a 2-2 draw at Villa Park. I think there will be definitely goals. Villa will come at Liverpool and they will create chances.
Man City.
You never know with Fulham. They sometimes surprise you.
Yeah.
Nah, fuck no. 1-0, 2-0 Man City.
Yeah.
Arsenal at Old Trafford.
I hate this game, guys. I hate this game so much.
It's
Them
one of
final
them.
two away
Never,
games
even
arguably
when they're
final two away.
crap, Gareth.
You just have to play Spurs and United as your two final. That's your two most tricky games.
Yeah.
Obviously, because I know Man City and Liverpool are but they're up there. You have
But
a
if
better
you,
team than Spurs and
my
Man United.
only
Difficult games.
my only hope, guys, is that Man United are crap beforehand, so they'll have pretty much nothing to play for in this game.
Yeah.
That's my only hope. So in terms of, even though I think we're a much better team, but somehow we always screw it up against Man United. Even last season we dominated them the whole game. There's so many chances, and they beat us 3-1. It's just they never do well. So I'm gonna go for 2-1 Arsenal.
Yeah.
3-1 Arsenal. I'm gonna go for. This is where you have to win. So I think all three teams are going to win.
You say, oh, okay.
Ooh. And I think the last week, I think we have. I know Liverpool have Wolves, and Man City have West Ham. I think it is, and then Arsenal have.
And then final game, Arsenal take on Everton, Liverpool take on Wolves, and Man City take on West Ham.
I would expect all three teams to win there.
Same. I would say all these teams will have absolutely nothing to play for. I think Everton by then will be safe. Wolves, I think, will be kind of mid-table, so nothing kind of to play for. Maybe Europe, but I doubt it. I doubt Wolves can go that far. And West Ham, I think, will just be sitting mid-table or even yeah. So we
always seem to have Wolves in the last day of the season.
You do? Yeah, Wolves. Yeah, we had them last year and we beat them, I think, 5.
Right, so I'm going to throw up your scores here. So give me 2 seconds. I'll put them up on the screen here for you. So
I think the last time we went for the title, I think we had Wolves at home last day when Coutinho scored 2 to put Villa up, and I thought that was the day, but obviously it wasn't. Oh, it's going to be a fun end of the season, regardless.
No, it's going to be.
Owen,
I'm
is your final league table. You have Man City on.
Hey, but wait, Gareth. Arsenal are more likely to have a better goal difference than Liverpool.
He's going to fight over second place. I don't think he's on matter too much.
Yeah.
3-1. Arsenal will fall.
Of course.
Stefan, I will put up your one now.
See if we lose by a point again, I'm done.
What's mine now? Let's see. Mine is pretty biased, so let's see.
Arsenal like 95 points or something.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. We've won all the games pretty much.
That will be Stefan's table.
I was nearly right.
And I'll give you mine now.
Yours is going to have Man City first, I think.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
And this is mine.
So
three similar ones. I mean, Owen's is definitely the closest. I mean, I'd love to see this. It would be a great, all the way to the wire. Would be interesting.
This would be crazy. Like, honestly, I'm going to be sick. I'm going to be sick at the end of the season, probably.
There we go. So anyone that's done it up there, feel free to put yours on, and we can put them up before we finish. Lads, did you enjoy that? I mean, Owen, what's your thoughts there? I mean, you seem like you had a lot of the teams to drop points. Is that the way how you see it? You think? You think maybe 8 points might be enough?
I generally do think all teams will drop points at some point. Obviously, I hope Arsenal and Man City drop more points than we do because I want us to win it. But you know what? If Man City win it, it's just what to do. They've won it again. Yeah, hey. If Arsenal won it, fair play. And if Liverpool won it, you'll never want to hear from me again.
Yeah, and what about you? I mean, you more confident now after doing them results? You've seen the games that teams have.
I just think Arsenal are the best placed compared to the two teams based on just Man City have won so many league titles. I don't think they have the same motivation. I don't think they have the same quality as they did last season based on the players they lost. We're forgetting the context, guys, of Liverpool have a slight advantage.
I also think that looking at that now, I think Arsenal have possibly the easiest out of the three. I think Man City and Liverpool have harder games.
Liverpool have easier games in my opinion.
You think so?
Yeah,
I think it's quite away, Man City.
Yeah, but we have to go to Man City away. The most difficult game Arsenal has. Man City away. Yeah, we have to go to Spurs away. And don't forget Man United away. We suck at Man United. We don't do well at Spurs over the last decade. We are crap away to the Etihad. So we've got 3 games where historically we usually draw points. So and Brighton away too.
Before we go off, I'm just going to ask you for your quick fire predictions for this weekend's game. So just give me a quick scoreline before we finish. I'll go through these games in more detail on Thursday. So we'll bring these up. So there's no 12:30 game on Saturday. So it's just 3 o'clock games. And funny enough, I'm going to be at the Tottenham game on Saturday. So usually that means a good result, but we'll see.
Owen, I just want to ask Gareth, why haven't we discussed Spurs?
We will be discussing them next week. They haven't been playing. So no point. Brentford, Chelsea. Brentford, Chelsea. How do you see that going on?
You know what? You don't know with Chelsea, but I'll go 2-1 Chelsea.
Stefan?
Who? Brentford away? What? 2-1 Chelsea? No.
I think they'll just nick it.
2-0 Brentford, guys. It's a loss.
Although Brentford did beat them earlier on.
Yeah, Brentford beat them at home, and Brentford at home are a much different. They're a different team compared to away. I think Brentford will win 2-0.
Owen, Liverpool or Everton, West Ham.
That's gonna be an awful game.
I'm gonna go 1-1.
Yeah.
How do you see that, Stefan?
I actually think Everton are going through a bad spell, and West Ham are slowly picking up form. David Moyes has this, this cat instinct of 9 lives. Every time he's on the brink of the sack, he goes on a really good run. So I'm going to go for a 2-0 win for West Ham.
Fulham, Brighton. Owen, how do you see that going?
Again, 2-1 Brighton.
How do you see that, Stefan?
No, Brighton are terrible away from home. Fulham had a really good win against Man United. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win Fulham.
Newcastle, Wolves. Should be a good game.
It looks like a good game. I'll go 2-0 Newcastle.
Stefan?
I'm gonna go 1-1.
1-1. Nottingham Forest against Liverpool. Owen, you tapped Liverpool for a 1 in yours, so we'll stick to that. And Stefan says a draw. I also says a draw. The greatest team in football are back in action this weekend. Tottenham Hotspur take on Crystal Palace. Owen, how do you see that going? I mean, possibly a bit trickier now with the new manager in there for Palace.
They will be. You know what? Just to wind you up, I'm going to go 2-1 Palace.
I'm going to go for Gareth. I'm sorry to say, but I don't agree with a win for Palace, but the stars are aligning, Gareth. They had a nice 3-0 victory to get some confidence into the new coach. He's going to have a week.
Everybody beat Burnley, but he can't read on that.
Okay, but still, he's going to have a week to prepare for Spurs, reinvigorate the Palace players. I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw, Gareth.
2-2 draw. Luton, I'll do my predict. I'll do a bit of a preview before the game. I usually when I get to the stadium, I always do a preview, so you'll see me live.
Gareth will say 6-0 Spurs.
Yeah, 6.
Spurs is going to come out all guns blazing this weekend. They'll win that game.
With who, Gareth? Poro, and I don't know if you read Poro.
They'll be back.
Out.
They'll be back.
No, he's out for the game. I don't know if you read.
Well, I'll wait to hear from Mines on Friday. I'll hear him on night. I don't believe in all these leaks. If he isn't fit, I'll be worried. If how many dog aren't fit, I'll be worried. Luton, Aston Villa, 5:30 kickoff. How do you see that going on?
Aston Villa. Oh, Luton at home. No, I'll go a draw.
This is the weekend Spurs take back control of the top 4. Spurs is going to beat Palace, and Luton's going to take at least a draw off Villa. What do you think, Stefan?
You guys never learn. This is an Emery classic. Luton win.
Owen, Andy Super Sunday. Burnley take on Bournemouth in the early game. How do you see that going?
What a super Sunday.
Well, I was just gonna say what a super Sunday. Who'd you say Bournemouth and Burnley? Bournemouth 3-0. Burnley are just shit.
Stefan.
Yeah, I love watching Bournemouth play, especially at home. I think they'll destroy Burnley. I'm gonna go for a 3-0 win also.
And the Manchester derby, Owen uses Man City and Stefan uses Man City as well.
Yep.
I mean,
and then
I'm hoping Man United do something, and you know they have it in them, like against Liverpool at Anfield, they got a 0-0 draw. So
these games always feel weird for me because I'll be cheering on Man United, which just feels wrong.
And finally, we also won them against Sheffield. So
yeah, I don't know if you saw that stat on Sky Sports, which was the most damning. On the team that has faced the most amount of plus 15 shots per game is Man United.
But do you know what? United's going to get because Man United or Man City is going to rest De Bruyne, so it'll be much tighter than when people think. Because De Bruyne's not playing.
But Gareth, if you concede 15 shots pretty much almost every game, you have conceded more than 15 shots in more games than Sheffield United.
But we know what Man City will do. We know what Man City will do. They'll go up 2-0 and they'll just pass it around. That's what they'll do.
Yeah, it'll be
over. See this being at 5 or 6-0.
And then Bruno will get a yellow card for petulance.
Lads, it's been great having these on. Really enjoyed the run on there. Some interesting predictions. I'm sure we'll have these on very soon again. I'll be back on Thursday looking ahead to the weekend's games. And I'm sure Owen and Stefan will be back next week because there's God knows what will happen this weekend. I'll be at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on Saturday, so catch me for my preview for the weekend's games around 1:30. Probably I'll put it up when the stadium's a bit quieter. I'll do a quick preview in the games this weekend from the Spurs Stadium. Boys, great to have you on, and I'll see you soon.
Thanks very much.
And if you're new around here, make sure to like the channel and subscribe for more content. Lads, pleasure as always.
Thanks.